KwaZulu-Natal, the Richards Bay Airport was severely damaged during yesterday's severe storm. It's among several buildings and homes affected. At least one person was killed when scaffolding fell on him yesterday. Newzroom Africa's Karinda Jagmohan is at the airport. She's our eyes and ears to tell us exactly what we're seeing and hearing as officials are on a walkabout there. Good afternoon, Karinda.
Certainly. Good afternoon, Dudu. Well, we've just come from the site where one person was killed. It was a very harrowing sight to see the place where scaffolding and bricks had fallen down on the 53-year-old construction worker. And now we've come to the airport where you'll see parts of the airport ceiling and roof has been destroyed by these severe storms. Certainly, as we go across this area of Empangeni and the neighboring Richards Bay, we're seeing more and more devastation. But let's speak now to the Mhlatuzi Mayor, Mr. Olani Ngwezi. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. Residents are so concerned about this freak storm that happened yesterday. What did you experience yesterday, sir?
Well, we experience this situation, which you can see as well, because right now we are in the airport, and the roof in this airport was actually blown away, and we have had some of the offices here actually over flooding, and in so many areas. For instance, in Five Ways Mall, there's an extension of Five Ways Spa, and we lost a life there of Mr. Kumbane, who was actually preparing to remove tools when the storm happened, and we've had 2 injuries and 2 further injuries from Ward 29, and those ones are receiving medical attention in Gwelezane Hospital. We send condolences to the family of Mr. Kumbane and also the Mjatu family. We've spoken to the son, and we'll be doing some means to see how best can we assist for the family to be able to bury their loved one. And we have had damages in the fire department in Empangeni, but I must also indicate that the fire employees are at work. They are proceeding as we receive normally their calls and their instructions from the Richards Bay Civic Center. We have had about 10 families being evacuated from their homes, but they were never sent to community halls, and they slept in the neighbors. And we'll be meeting them this afternoon. We have had incidents in Mategane. We have had incidents, where the electrical infrastructure was damaged, especially in an area where we are in Mandlazini, next to the opera. It's actually about a kilometer away from where we are. Our employees and the disaster management teams are in different areas, still assessing. And as information comes and incidents arise, we're actually going to respond on those things. I'm informed, for instance, that a police station as well was affected, Empangeni police station, and Kalagabusha prison was actually affected, and we'll be visiting these areas as time goes on.
Certainly. We've spoken to some of the residents. They're concerned of how quickly this happened. In terms of the disaster management and ensuring that we can foresee natural disasters, how assured are you about the disaster management team, or for that matter, the South African Weather Service that's supposed to give an alert about these kind of situations?
Well, I must indicate that the observation by residents is actually correct. When I saw the notification from the SA Weather Services, it was around 3:15, and just around 4:30 this had happened. And I had not arrived at home. I was still in the Pick and Pay Mall, and next to there is a pharmacy which I had visited, and we had to be evacuated from the pharmacy because the pharmacy also was actually severely affected. And so I'm just saying all which must also do as citizens is to be vigilant about the issues of climate change, because really climate change has actually given us challenges, and we can say now nobody knew that when we woke up yesterday we would sleep in the evening with this kind of devastation that we can see in the city. So we need to actually adhere to all the advices which we are given so that we can safeguard our environment and protect lives.
And then as we go into the next year, because we're already looking at 1 year since the April floods which hit most parts of Durban, What is your mandate now to try and maybe secure the city with regards to this issue of climate change and natural disasters?
Let me say that our department, especially city development, is having some programs. There is money put aside and approved by the draft budget to address issues of climate change. The Department of, for instance, Community Services, Waste Management, they are putting up plans to assist, augment, so that we can continue to protect. But also we're calling on, government to actually put more funding on the programs that will see us actually addressing this issue, or rather minimizing incidents of that nature. And because it's very bad. Yesterday, for instance, we have had to have no planes landing in Richards Bay. We have had to cancel all the flights and all that. So you can see the level of inconvenience, the lives we continue to lose, that we ought really, all of us, as communities, as government, as business sector, as individual households, we need to work together to actually make sure that we mitigate the factors of climate change.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Mayor Mr. Xolani Ngwezi, thank you, sir. An important factor he mentions there, Dudu, this issue of climate change, this freak disaster that happened yesterday. Ngela, let's step back. That is actually about to fall, I think. This freak disaster we had yesterday in Mpangeni and Richards Bay. Residents say it was between about less than 20 minutes when the severe storm came, gusts of heavy winds, hail, rain as well. And as we drove through the streets of Mpangeni, the highways, there are large, massive trees that have been just ripped from the ground. And, it fell onto some of the buildings and homes. We know one person sadly lost their lives. And it was a devastating scene there that we were earlier. Later this afternoon, I'll just give you an interview as well that we had with the deceased son, who explained how just before the storm hit, his father told him to go home and take care of the children. That was 53-year-old Petros Kumbane who said this, and he passed away in the midst of the severe storm just yesterday. Devastating scenes here. This is the airport, and that is the damage here. But later on, we're going to go to some of the houses where a similar situation has happened. Roofs of those houses ripped from their homes, and people at this point are homeless. They're staying with relatives. The numbers are not as large as what we saw last year in terms of the April floods that happened last year, but certainly the trauma of the residents are still the same. And at this point, a word of caution to look out for this impact of climate change and the natural disasters that might come with it.
Karinda, Jagmohan, thank you very much for that comprehensive report. We'll see you later.